Hello guys, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I posted a video. I really wanted to sit down and have a general chat with you guys and talk about what it's like to work as an editorial assistant, because there are a lot of editorial jobs out there. I can see that there's loads of editorial assistant jobs in all sectors. So it could be fashion, could be media and publication, could be anything. And I think a lot of people generally come onto an editorial assistant role thinking they're actually going to write stuff and there's going to be lots of management, things like that. And I just want to clarify what exactly it feels like to work as an editorial assistant in different sectors and different areas, because I've done that a lot and I just want to share it with you guys, because sometimes job specifications don't actually tell you exactly what you end up doing. It's just general administrative duties and things like that. If you're new here, my name is Mona. I'm an X-Magazine journalist. I have a Substack publication where I publish content fortnightly. It's usually about writing, about how to write better, and then I also post some fashion content. My recent post is actually about the 90s rom-com journalist, and if you are interested, I will link everything down below. There's a lot to get through, so let's get on with the video. A lot of editorial assistant roles usually come up in journalism, so if you want to work with a magazine, one of the best roles to actually go on to is an editorial assistant role, where they kind of teach you how all departments work, so you're doing bits and pieces of all different departments. My first internship while I was studying was actually in the Middle East, so in Kuwait. I think it was during my April holidays. I was studying here and I went back to Kuwait. I wanted to do an internship. I basically took a module which had a mandatory internship work experience as part of it. During my Easter holidays, I went back to Kuwait and I worked as an editorial assistant intern with Bazaar Town magazine. Is basically lifestyle and fashion publication. In Kuwait, there's a massive culture of going out to restaurants and dining out and eating out. There's a massive eating culture, and there's a massive shisha culture, so you have shisha and you kind of go for dinner. They have really nice restaurants and things like that. So this magazine primarily focused on fashion and lifestyle, and then they also had a dining out guide. So all the restaurants that you could go to, all the new ones that are popping up that are really good. Honestly, I think when I look back, it was one of the best internships to do when I was younger, because there was no pressure. They were lovely. It was a very small team. There was around 5 people in the office, and it was a very, very interesting place to be at. Part of my job was to assist with editorial stuff, but the great thing about that was they were helping me write articles. So some of the articles that I wrote and co-wrote, put them as part of my portfolio, so that's a great thing, and they still have them. The website hasn't been removed, it's still all there, whereas some of my other content that I've written for other independent magazines, they've redone their website because it was a couple of years ago and my articles have gone. So that's actually a little side tip for you guys, that always save your articles, save the website, because sometimes they will redo your website and then you kind of lose all your work, and then you've put it onto your portfolio and then you don't know what to do, because it looks like, I mean, it doesn't look like you're lying, but you've done all this work and it's not there. So yeah, so just remember that if you have digital articles and features, make sure you find a way to save them. Back to my first internship, they allowed me to co-write the articles, but the great thing about that was I actually got amazing hands-on experience. So the entire week that I was there was actually amazing, and they basically taught me everything step by step. They were really lovely. We were called out to a couple of different places where we actually went to the places, spoke to the people, and went to restaurants. We dined at the restaurants and we ate the food, and then we went back to the office and then we wrote about it, and it was so lovely. It was exactly what you imagine the experience of being a features writer or a journalist at a magazine is, where you get sent out on assignments, you go and meet the people, go to the event, and then you write about it. So there were some really interesting things that come up. So one of the things that I always remember, and I think is probably one of like the most interesting thing I've ever done in my entire career as a magazine journalist, we went to there was this lady in Kuwait who got married to a Kuwaiti man, and basically she lived in Florida, somewhere near the swamps. So she grew up near the swamps and stuff like that, and she actually brought in iguanas, swamp animals, swamp plants. She imported them from Florida, and we went to her house, and on the rooftop of her house she had a massive outdoor swamp in the middle of a desert on her rooftop. And she was a lovely lady. The house was amazing. It was gorgeous. It was massive. It was like a mansion. She had all these animals, and she was like, oh yeah, just be careful, there might be a snake there. And I'm just walking around thinking, oh my god, something's gonna bite me and I'm gonna die. And I was like, okay, this clearly is not what I signed up for, but we're gonna make it through. It's fine. I'm an adult. We're gonna go through this. But then she decided that we were meant to go downstairs. So she had a base, she had a rooftop, and then in the rooftop there was like stairs to go downstairs to like this additional room. In this additional room, she had swamp animals, like reptilian swamp animals, locked up in cages inside this room. And let me tell you, this was me, a little baby at 19 years old, thinking I'm gonna be a magazine journalist. And I was like, no way, I'm not going. And she, you know what, she wanted us to touch and pet the reptilians. Not an amount of money that you could give me that I would want to touch the reptilians. She had them locked in cages, and my other two colleagues this downstairs, and I chose to stay on the rooftop even though I was freaked out. I was like literally like ducking every second. I was like, something's gonna bite me, something's gonna happen. And then we had to write about it, and I was like, you know what, in the moment I was totally freaked out, and I was like, okay, what is this? This is really freaky. I just think like nobody has this story to tell. This is such a unique experience that I think no one is going to have. No one is going to say that they went to a swamp in the middle of a desert in a rooftop and then were asked to pet reptilians. This only happens once in a lifetime. It just never happens. So I'm very grateful that I had that experience. The other assignment that we had was actually much nicer and probably more up my alley. So Versace, the designer Versace, opened a new cafe, and we went and we had food there at the cafe, and we tried all the food, and then we basically had to write about it. So it was like a dining out guide sort of thing. And then there were some other things that I did where I turned some press releases that we got into stories, and then I did some picture research. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, so I basically did a bunch of assignments. Now I know that's probably a very unique sort of situation, because I don't think they got that many interns at the magazine in the first place. And over here, I think you get such a large volume of journalists wanting to apply for editorial assistant jobs at specific places like the Sunday Times or Vogue or Marie Claire, Grazia, Women's Health, that you don't really get to do the fun stuff until you're kind of paid your dues. And so I think I feel very lucky that I had that first internship experience. So that was basically my first editorial intern experience. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed the Bazaar Town internship, and it was a really good first internship. So it's technically initially where I figured out what it's going to be like working in a lifestyle magazine. Even though it's completely detached from London, I still kind of got like a taste of what exactly it was, and I actually really enjoyed it. The second major experience that I had was with an online e-commerce boutique. So it was a luxury accessory boutique, handbags specifically. I actually did some freelance stuff for an event that was going on in London. The owner, she was basically at the event promoting the bags, and I just thought the bags looked really cool. She looked really cool. She looked like she was a very cool person, and I just thought, you know what? The product looks really good, and this is the type of products that I would like to be working for. This is the type of products that I want to be promoting. I applied for the job. I got a 6-month internship. It was completely unpaid. I think in hindsight, if I think about it, I probably should have negotiated some sort of pay, but unfortunately, again, it was right after my graduation. I applied for this internship with this online boutique because I wanted to move into something fashion related, and mostly luxury fashion related. I just didn't give any thought to it. I just wanted to like work and learn. It's definitely a mistake, and I think if you guys are watching out there and you want to go on for internships and stuff, I definitely think even if it's offbeat and like a random brand, please don't work for free or work somewhere else and then kind of give them part-time. I wouldn't really recommend that, obviously, especially in this economy, unless you're living at home and it's doable and your parents are paying for you. So I was able to do this internship for another 6 months. Initially an internship, but it actually ended up becoming an editorial internship. So I wrote a lot of blogs for her. I also designed some logos. There was different sections on the website. So the reason why she wanted an intern in the first place is because her entire company and the website was rebranding. So she was rebranding everything, and then at the end of the 6 months, the brand had an event, in-person event, where people came in and shopped the products in person and then shopped other products online if they wanted to. And it was long hours. I was working on it every single day. It was very different to what I was used to before. I think I really struggled to set boundaries with my manager. With FC, the internship, I really got to know a lot more about how to prepare for meetings, how to get brands on board to your e-commerce platform, what kind of deals you make, how to negotiate, and really important skills which I think can help in a startup business sort of situation. And it was a really good first experience. It was a small team, and there was only like 4 or 5 people, and I also got experience of online as well as in-person events and how to do those types of sales. So online sales and how that differs with in-person sales, how to create those events, how to find your buyers, how to market yourself, how to market the brand. So it was actually a very good experience overall. However, I did feel like it was kind of taking up a lot of my time. I mean, this is completely normal for anyone working in London doing internships or just doing any regular high level job. You're kind of working over hours anyway. I think in hindsight, I probably should have made my boundaries very clear, had a cutoff time, but it started to become quite toxic and I just felt like I had to leave. I think what I gained from that internship was actually very valuable, but it was always time to leave. And I think that's a little tip if you guys are interested, because journalism is non-stop and ideas are non-stop. They can come to you at 2 a.m. in the morning. So just make sure that you are aware where to make a cutoff for your own mental health, which I kind of overlooked in the past, but obviously I would never do that anymore. And I would advise you guys that please take care of your mental health, because that's really just the main thing at the end of the day, because if you don't have your health, you won't be able to work. The reason why I'm wearing different clothes and I look different is because I'm shooting this video over a couple of days. Okay, so investor media, so that is the most recent project that I came on as an editorial assistant. It was in 2019. It basically finished right before pandemic. I actually found it on thedots.com. This was basically a very editorial heavy job. I did a lot of writing. This is probably where I got the most hands-on experience of working with media partners and working in a media company, so I really got that thorough experience of what it's actually like. I was basically assisting the editor and creating content for 3 print magazines. So there was Luxury Plus, which was all about luxury fashion. There was Yacht Chart, the other one was Family Office, which was all about wealth management. This experience was very different to what I've done in the past. So working with a media company as an editorial assistant was actually very vastly different to working within Mess Magazine as an editorial assistant or working for Garage Magazine as a digital editorial assistant. So it's all very different. Okay, so in this section, I'm going to talk to you guys about what career websites I use to find these type of freelance and contract projects. I will link them all down below. I already mentioned one of them, so it's thedots.com, and it basically has a bunch of creative, full-time, freelance, remote, hybrid working situations, but there's an option, there's a filter where you can check for freelance projects and you can go for editorial, and there's other jobs as well. The other main one, which a lot of people probably know if you work within fashion, is Fashion Worky, and they have a journalism and publishing section where they sometimes have editorial assistant roles, and then they also have freelance and remote work. When I was first starting out, I usually used that website a lot to find projects and freelance work and contract work, so I think that would probably be very helpful. The other one obviously is LinkedIn, where you can find loads of jobs. Just a quick thing, I also wanted to remind you guys that I do have an Excel template which you guys can download. I will link it down in the description box below. It was actually really helpful for me when I was applying because it helped me stay on top of my application. So we've come to the end of the video. If you liked this video and you like this type of content and you want to know a little bit more about what it's like to be working in an editorial assistant role within specific magazines or in TV, I actually made a video a couple of weeks ago, which I will link over here somewhere. It's basically a roundup of all the movies and the TV series which are loosely based on journalism. A lot of them are female centric because I really want to cater to my female viewers. You can watch the video and see what it's like. I hope you enjoy it.